do you think this next person really needs an introduction? Well, because she's gonna get one right now. So, the author of Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn, please welcome Stephenie Meyer. It's such a pleasure for me to get to meet you, as I know all of the audience feels as well. I did want to let you know, I really identified with Bella immediately because I am a born klutz, I am accident prone, and my husband is the self-appointed Edward character to my Bella. Something also that I was noticing in an interview that you had done, you talked about the difference between being a writer and a storyteller. And I really liked kind of what you had to say about that, because you get compared to other writers and this and that, but a good story is a good story is a good story, and so I really appreciate your storytelling.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still perfecting that writing thing, but I've been doing the storytelling thing forever, and it's someplace I feel really comfortable.
Oh, good. Well, then we need to get started with some storytelling. Your fans have texted questions in to eclipse.net from, I think, around the globe, maybe just the States, maybe other planets, I'm not sure. But this is the first time you actually get to talk about Breaking Dawn in public.
Right.
So let's get started. I've got the questions here. Elizabeth asks, what are your intentions with the Twilight universe, and are you going to do anything after Midnight Sun?
All right, so confession on that one. A lot of you guys know Elizabeth, my publicist, right? Who's really cool, yeah? So we're going through the questions, and about 1 million of them were, so is the next book going to be about Nessie and Jacob? Or are you going to do something with Garrett? Or are you going to go ahead and do something with Kate? And what are you going to do with Bella and Edward? And so we combined it into one, just so we could move forward. At this point in time, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. I've been writing about vampires for a long time now, and when I get done with Midnight Sun, there's a lot of other characters that I have waiting. They're just kind of sitting back there in the wings like, is it our turn yet? I want to give them their turn. So that's something that we'll see. I don't know that I'm done with the Cullens universe. We'll have to wait and see how that works out.
Well, I'm going to hazard a guess that you're going to breathe and maybe have a drink of water or a Pepsi.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to sleep for a week. That's
Good.
my first plan.
Okay, Christina asks, can you tell us the difference between Breaking Dawn and Forever Dawn?
I thought that was a really cool question because I've seen some speculation on that, and the basic storyline, Bella and Edward get married, Renesmee, in printing, and then the final scene with the Volturi is very much the same as Forever Dawn. So all of those things were in place with the story by fall of 2003. So for a really long time, I knew where this was going, and the little differences are things like, without Eclipse and New Moon, Jacob really hasn't developed as a character, so his development happens in Forever Dawn, and it's a little bit sketchier. There's not quite as much. You don't get to know him. Leah's not as big a part of the story, and I missed that. So it's just the little pieces of the characters that are really more fleshed out earlier in the novel, but other than that, it's very close.
Okay, Evelyn asks, how does Edward feel about himself now? Does he still see himself as a monster?
I really love that question because no, there's this great evolution for him. He's kind of a pessimist. Does anybody else notice that? He's really always waiting for the worst thing to happen, and then it doesn't. And I think his biggest, worst fear throughout this entire situation was that he would give in, he would change Bella, and she would hate him for it, that she would regret what had happened. And that doesn't happen. And you can see at the end, he's just changed so much that even with this horrible impending doom, he has faith in their future. He doesn't believe that anything can stop them now. And I was really happy to see that happiness in him and that evolution to where he's a believer now. And I really like that.
Sydney asks, since you couldn't answer completely at Comic-Con, what is your favorite Bella Edward moment?
Right.
Take as long as you want.
Right. No, completely honest. Actually, I did answer this one in Chicago, so I'm sure some of you know this, but the last 2 pages of Breaking Dawn were... that scene for me was the culmination of over 2,000 pages of getting there. And so it really, that for me was the moment. I mean, they finally see eye to eye and really know each other. And wow, that was really worth 2,000 pages to get to.
I'm a little surprised because I thought the new love would maybe, because I know I was a big fan of like that rush of new love, but that's great. Okay.
Well, you know, new love is really fantastic, but love realized is even better.
Yes, because it matures and, yeah,
Right.
It gets better. All right. Christine wants to know, for Twilight and New Moon, you posted outtakes and extra stuff online. Will there be outtakes or extras for Breaking Dawn?
Okay, so as I've gotten a little bit better with the writing thing, I don't have to cut as much. The bad news is like with Eclipse, there really aren't any outtakes. I did do a few extras there, and probably there's more coming. With Breaking Dawn, there weren't a lot of major cuts or like interesting cuts. Everything that went it was a good thing. But I do think that, I don't know, I'll probably get around to posting little bits of Forever Dawn just so you can kind of see how different it was. And some of the scenes when they take place in a totally different time and a different way, but at the same time it's the same effect being achieved. So there's a possibility that there'll be little pieces of Forever Dawn out there someday.
What about the spoof that you did when it was just getting all crazy, Breaking Down? Will that ever really get out there? Or
I should totally write Breaking Down. If I had more time, what I would have done is like, you know, if I hadn't been, I don't know, touring for the host last May, I probably would have been writing Breaking Down, and then I would have leaked it, and then people would be like, oh my gosh, they all die. It's really cruel. It's the Hamlet ending. I think in the end we have, you know, of course Bella's planning to commit suicide, changes her mind, falls off the cliff anyway because she tripped. You know, poor Charlie has lost his job because after Bella was so seriously injured earlier, he got addicted to her pain meds. Bella's brief marriage to Mike that ended when he ran away with Eric Yorkie, that was a sad moment. Yeah. Breaking Down was really good time, so that might happen someday.
okay. All right. Anonymous asks, why didn't we see Bella's pregnancy